Okay, so look at WideAsFcuk, the alpha, and specifically my thoughts on the game. So this is a strange title. A potentially really good game, but a strange game nonetheless. So it's still an alpha, and therefore can be forgiven for its stumbles along the way, but on the whole there are definitely areas that I really enjoy far more than others, and if those parts that I don't really enjoy so much will ever be rectified, I don't know. Mainly because potentially those areas are things that others enjoy, and it's just me who doesn't like them. But anyway, before I go further, if you want to see my 21x9 support breakdown of the game, check out the description or just check out my channel, as here I'm focusing on the actual game content instead. So WideAsFcuk is set in a world where there are two clearly segregated masses. Those who blindly take a drug, I'm assuming LSD, called joy, that turns everything they look at and the way they feel into something positive and lovely. They can't question authority or the world around them, and certainly cannot have sad or unhappy feelings, because otherwise they are labelled as a downer and things turn nasty, with downers being chucked out into the surrounding run-down towns and labelled as having a disease and needing quarantining. I wonder why they haven't just killed them off, but I suppose there wouldn't be much of a game if they were just killed off instead of chucked out into a town. So basically, WideAsFcuk has you landed in a back-end part of the world, on an island of some kind, and you're essentially left with no clear aim, but must just explore and survive. Soon, however, you will start to work out that you must try and leave your island, and you find yourself working from island to island, working your way into the joy-filled world until you can escape. Well, escape probably isn't the right word, but move on deeper into the mysterious world that you inhabit. And it's a very cool idea, and the story being told is engrossing. You always want to know why, how, when, and are rarely told anything straight, but have to piece together little bits to slowly see the bigger picture. The main story elements are coming in a future update, so until then we are limited to what the open world shows us, but it's enough to get most people interested and wanting to play more. Now, as for the gameplay, the game at first seems rather small. I must admit, for a while I was under the impression it would only take a few hours and you'd be completing everything it had to offer, but I was definitely wrong. There is a much grander scale to this game than first meets the eye, and I'm happy about that. However, the way in which the game works currently doesn't totally work for me. So you're in an open world and need to fend for yourself, constantly feeding yourself and drinking and fighting, and whilst these are cool ideas, they're simply too heavily laid on. I found myself incessantly worrying about running out of food or water or getting ill and then dying, and it took away from what I wanted to do, which was explore the world. I could have enjoyed the entire game as much, if not more, if I didn't have to deal with hunger and thirst. It doesn't quite sit well with me in the way that I envisioned this game to be, but I'm sure many people will argue differently and say it's a core mechanic that makes the game what it is. But if so, then if anything, I'd just like the hunger and the thirst to be turned down a bit. Don't make it so desperately important to be monitoring all of your life stats, because it feels like it's taking over the game far too much. Now, being an alpha, it hasn't held it back from having a lot to offer. You must be prepared to take your time, you need to remember locations, different quests, requirements, and this all ramps up as you work your way further into the islands, with islands that you're supposed to be taking joy on having random rules like saying hi to everyone, otherwise they'll take you to be a downer. And it works well, building up the tension which is always present. Now, I do wonder if this game would have been better off as a tighter, more scripted, linear game. For myself, I think that would have worked better, but I'm sure others will like the open exploration to it. It's just that comparing the opening sequence to the open world stuff, the opening sequence is a mile better in terms of interest and engagement. As someone who is looking for a story from this instead of an actual time-sucking game, yeah, that would have been more up my alley. Overall, it's a good game that I would recommend giving a go if you're into survival, first-person, slow-ish paced games. It has great moments of tension and action, but generally it requires patience and attention. I'm really interested in seeing the story element released, as that is what intrigues me the most, and I will be sure to play it further then, but as for now, I won't be returning to it as it just hasn't hooked me yet. However, with a WideAsFcuk score of 3 and the potential to hit a 4 later, it's a solid ultra-wide title. But anyway, I hope that gives you a better idea of what this game has to offer at 21x9. Give this video a like if you found it helpful, and subscribe for future info. For any other games at 21x9, head over to my channel. Hopefully I've covered it. If I haven't, then leave a comment down below and I'll try and cover it. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, the links to my Patreon page are in the description. See you later.
You poor thing. Who did this to you? Robber!
Can't we just agree to disagree? Is somebody gonna come? My knees are killing me. What have we come to?